He's VB and he lives in Perth, making super videos for all his worth. His channel is great, he's a good mate with Beryl of Feral, so don't hesitate.
Hi, Elliot Roger here. Well, this is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you. For the last 8 years of my life, ever since I've hit puberty, I've been forced to endure an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires, all because girls have never been attracted to me. I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I've never even kissed a girl.
G'day, beer lovers. It's your old mate again here. VB Ed. That fuckwit at the beginning of this video, his name is Elliot Rogers. And recently, he couldn't find a woman who'd give him a root. So what did he do? He decided to go out and purchase a fucking gun, and he set out to shoot every woman he could find to extract his revenge. America is becoming so fucked. There are simply no controls to stop these sort of fuckwits with psychological problems from buying guns. There are fucking human time bombs everywhere over the USA, ready to explode. Now, I'm putting on the screen right now some statistics. Now, on the first set, which is based on 2010 statistics, it shows how many people were fucking murdered by guns every year. Check out the USA compared to the other countries. Also, I want to point out that this is just murders. All up, there was 100,000 people either wounded or murdered by guns in the USA. And this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on the second set, which I'm putting up now, it shows how many guns are registered in just 3 particular countries, okay? And I'm choosing the USA, Canada, and Australia, okay? Now, if you look at those figures and combine it with what I had previously and do some analysis, what's really fucking interesting is that Canada has really slack gun controls also, just like the USA, and yet there is a low murder rate with guns. Why? Why is the USA so fucking violent? Well, in the United States, there is 250 million guns. Every bastard owns a gun. Anyone over the age of 16 in most states can go out and purchase a fucking gun. This is fucking crazy. There is something really fucking sick in the USA. Now, if you look at a person the wrong way, you've got to watch out that bastard hasn't got a fucking gun and turns it on you. And this goes to the real reason why the USA has a high level of violence. It is a society based on fucking fear. The citizens of the USA are spoon-fed more fear by their media than anyone else in the world. Examples: America, being a superpower, gets involved in a lot of fighting around the world. The USA gets involved in all these little disputes and skirmishes, okay, which creates fear. It's on the news every night. The USA also does not have a public health care system, so everyone fears what's going to happen to them when they get old and sick. There's going to be no one to look after them. This is all part of it. The American society is fear-based, which creates this need to have guns. Now, the USA is also controlled by these fucking powerful gun lobby organisations, which are set up by corporate gun companies to control fucking politicians in order to create a fucking market for their fucking guns. This is fucking sick. When Charlton Heston was alive, he would turn up within a week at these towns where there was these fucking gun massacres like Columbine and these others, and he would have these fucking rally meetings for the National Rifle Association to reassure people's rights to own fucking guns. This is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. He was a totally insensitive fucking arsehole. Now, a lot of my American friends will be saying right now, who is this fucking Australian wanker? You know, he doesn't live in the USA. You know, Australia isn't a military superpower. You know, and the might of America saved their fucking sorry asses in World War II from the fucking Japanese. Yeah, that's all fucking true. But I'm trying to portray to all my American friends that this whole fucking world, is bashing our heads in frustration when we look at the society you guys have created for yourselves. Americans will always quote their Second Amendment rights, okay? But that was written into their constitution after they fought a war and kicked out the fucking British. You know, your founding fathers were paranoid that the English were going to come back one day. It was all fucking fear-based. But when that law was written, everyone just owned a fucking musket gun, okay? Now, 200 years later, every American thinks it's okay to own a fucking AK-47. Now, Americans think that if they're threatened by a gun, that they should be allowed to defend themselves with a gun. So therefore, the more guns there are in society, the more guns that need to be purchased for protection. Fucking fear again. Their culture is, you need a gun. You know, it's a vicious circle. The thing is, if all the guns were just taken away, you wouldn't suspect that anyone would have a gun at all, would you? And fear would come down. You know, because there's so many guns in the USA, even when people were ordered to hand them in, no one would actually hand them in. You know, it's a hopeless situation. You know, the situation in America is fucking hopeless. I know the whole issue concerns mental illness, fear, and violence. But can this fucking diabolical situation continue forever? You know? It is so fucking obvious to the rest of the world that the USA should introduce permits to own guns. But they cannot even get to this point because their whole culture is based on this fucking belief that everyone is entitled to own a fucking gun. In one state, California, to their credit, you know, a law has been introduced to take away guns from people who've been convicted of a criminal offence. That sounds pretty bloody good, doesn't it? However, this has caused a big opposition, okay? It's an infringement of people's basic rights, that's what they say. And you have these fucking American conspiracists like Alex Jones, who believes that if the government confiscates guns, it's a sign that the government is fucking imposing martial law, you know? Again, we have a wanker spreading fear in the community. You know, gun laws in the USA are so fucking weak. Someone in the USA needs to grow some balls and speak up. Unfortunately, for there to be any change, there would need to be a huge massacre over there, you know, involving children of politicians and involving several states at the same time, you know. And only then I think that American politicians will wake up, you know, and bring in gun controls. Now, my final statement is this. In the USA, there is someone out there right now. He's another shooter, and he's currently planning the next massacre. And that is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. On my next rant, next week, I'm going to be ranting about the farming industry. I reckon farming is for mugs. Okay? I'll see you next week.